Alrighty, so today we're going to talk about the Mini Educator ET300 model. Has a half-mile range. This is how it comes when it's in the box. Some of the stuff's been pulled out because limited on space for recording. So this is the third time recording this video, but we're doing it now with a different device. So some of the things that it comes with is the transmitter, the receiver, charging with a split so you can charge both of them at the same time. A lanyard for the transmitter if you feel like you're going to drop it a lot. They're pretty durable, so not too worried about it myself, but to each their own. Longer contact points for the transmitter, just a little bit longer. For longer haired dogs, even smaller dogs, for even dogs that just don't really seem to be feeling it so much on this, you can use the longer contact points. Two tools in here, the hex wrench to remove the contact points, and then the little key to take off the cover if you ever break it or just want to change out the color. They come in a couple of different colors, just the generic ones. And then also within the tools is this little piece, and this is what we're going to use today to test out the leads. So first we're going to talk about the remote and just some of the basic functions of it. So to turn it on and off is the on and off button back here. Basically all that we do is we press and hold it, and then the LED screen comes on and indicating that it's on. So it says M&C on there, which stands for momentary and constant. So as we press the black stem button, it'll go at a momentary. This is indicating that it's transmitting. I'm holding it down and it's just going at one momentary. No matter how long I hold it down, it's always going to do that. And then the red function will basically go to constant. So what I like to do right off the bat is change it from momentary and constant just to constant. And the way you do that is this little button next to the on and off. It says M&C on there, and you just hold it down and it'll beep at you twice. So now it's on constant. So now whenever I press the black stem button, it's going to go at a constant rate. There is a failsafe of 30 seconds, so if it's in a backpack, pocket, purse, and it's accidentally going off, it will turn itself off. Even if there's a malfunction with this, which I haven't really seen yet. Not to say that there are no malfunctions with these, but just haven't seen one yet. Now what the red button will do at this point, we'll just bump it up 5 levels. So if we're on 5 and we press the red button, it'll go to 10 and come right back down. So to change the levels on this is using this dial. Clockwise will raise the level, counterclockwise will lower the level. So on the opposite end is the vibration button, and so we'll talk a lot about that. So in order to turn on the receiver, there are 2 red contact points on the receiver and the transmitter, and basically all you do is you touch those together. It'll turn on green, and that's letting you know that it's on. So these screens right here and right here will flash green, orange, or red. Green means you have really good battery life. Orange means you probably about have an hour at most left. And then red means you're probably just better off just getting it on the charger. So when we tap the vibration button, it'll vibrate just like that. And it's just me holding it down. And then when we tap the stem button, go ahead and attach this little piece to it real quick. When we tap the stem button, there's a current going through. So what I like about these is that the current is very, very soft compared to other e-collars, where most of the time they're pretty sharp. This is pretty much like a TENS unit, which is a electrical stimulation of the muscles that chiropractors use, physical therapists, to just stimulate the muscles. And so this is basically all that it does. And when we're finding levels on this, which is a whole completely different topic, but we're finding the level to where a dog can barely feel this. We're not trying to turn this up as high as we can. We're just finding to where the dog just notices that there's something going on whenever we're using the stem. So the strap comes really, really long. I've used this on everything from Saint Bernard, Mastiff, Great Dane, big Rottweilers, and the strap is has more than enough space. But with average sized dogs, like labs or golden retrievers, you might want to cut the strap. I always recommend cutting the strap so it looks like this. It's flush right here, so you have some real estate to pull. But when you're sizing it up to a dog, what I like to always do is when I'm getting the collar tight, I go to the point of pressure. So right here is where I'm feeling pressure. So if I were to notch it down on there, it's an okay method. But I like to also sometimes go one more past. Now this is basically, in very blunt terms, it's to the point where it's almost choking a dog, but not choking a dog. And that's just so that we can have a good contact. But like I said, right at the point of pressure, that's an okay area as well. But basically, we don't want it loose. We want to be able to just barely fit a finger through the collar almost everywhere. So that's the sizing on there. Just kind of show you some other functions that it can do. If you tap the on and off button, there's a light feature. So if you tap it once, that's tapping it once. It goes at a flash. When you tap it again, it'll go at a constant rate, and then tapping again will turn it off. Just so in case that ever happens, you know how to turn it off. I haven't really found a great orientation on my dogs, which you've seen both of them in our previous videos. I haven't seen a great orientation to where this is really helpful to anyone. So it's just kind of a function that's there. For smaller dogs, it might help out a little bit more, especially if you put the longer contact points so that it sits a little bit higher off of their neck. So one other function that is on this that I don't always recommend using is you can lock the level into place. So we're at 7 right now. So when I press and hold the button that changes the levels, it'll flash. You didn't really see it there, you probably see it on the other end, but now whenever I turn the knob, it's not going to change the level. But when I unlock it, it will change the level. So it takes a little bit of time whenever we're having to turn up the level within a dog. It's usually happening really, really fast in under a second. And so I don't recommend having it locked. A lot of people will do that thinking that like, oh, I want it locked so that it doesn't accidentally get turned up. My thought process behind that is just turn it down. Another thing is kids like to play with these sometimes, and you know when the dog has the collar on and the kid's playing with it and turning it up and pressing the fancy red button, it's doing unnecessary stimulation to a dog. And so whenever it's just laying around the house, I normally just have these turned off. But when I'm, if I have my dog coming with me to work and we're sitting at in an office environment, and the dog's sitting at my feet, such as a service dog, I'm usually just turning off the remote while the dog's right there, because I have a lot more control over the dog during the time. So, but out and about, remote's always on. You can connect it to the lanyard and let it just hang down and off your neck, so it's pretty close. They do make a lot of aftermarket parts for this. One in particular that I use, I don't have it with me right now, but it looks like a little lanyard with a piece of shock cord, and basically what it does is it'll hold its position on my wrist, and then the remote's naturally just falling into my hand. It's just typically on my right hand. It's just how I do it. And but there's even in this little portion right here, little screws you can buy for a magnet. I have a custom built belt that has a magnet in it just for this purpose. Or there's even like a little leather holster. I've seen Kydex holsters for these as well. that law enforcement agencies will use for their dogs that are on e-collars. So just a little bit about that. Again, kind of like a reiteration to people who have already gone through the program or have gone to the portion where we're using the e-collar now. And then again, if you just stumbled upon this video, I hope this kind of helps to kind of make a little bit of sense of the basic functions. There's still way more things that you can do with this, but this is the basics, all that you really absolutely need to know right off the bat. Other functions, like I mentioned before, one dog or two dog. You can have two dogs on one remote, two different collars independently moving off of different these two different buttons. And so lots of different functions. You can even remove the vibration completely and change it to a tone, but more on that later whenever we get to that point of using that function. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.